122,120,458 had. Can I? Let me repeat. At allowed 4 p.m., 12 million, 065,803 registered voters out of 22,120,458 had cast their votes. This equates to 56.17% of voter turnout, excluding voting through the manual register. Further, the Commission has noted there are still long queues of voters at the polling stations. In areas where voting started late or were interrupted, such as Kakamega and the Makueni counties, time lost will be compensated. The Commission has resolved to hold by-elections in 8 electoral areas due to court orders, mismatch of ballot materials content on 23rd August 2022. These include gubernatorial position, Mombasa and Kakamega County; B, member of National Assembly, Kitui Rural Constituency, Kitui County; Kachalimba Constituency, West Pokot County; Pokot South Constituency, West Pokot County; and the Rugai Constituency, Nakuru County. Members of County Assembly Ward, Nyaki West North Imenti Constituency, Meru County; Kwanjenga and Bakasi South Constituency, Nairobi County. The by-elections will be held in the next 2 weeks because A, voters in the electoral areas deserve a short period to elect their leaders. The Commission will also be ready to conduct the by-elections, having dispensed off with other electoral activities relating to the general election. And C, it will be cost-effective since the same equipment and personnel will be deployed with minimum training. Elections in Elders constituency, Wajir County, have been adjourned due to security reasons, and the voting shall commence tomorrow at 6 a.m. In conclusion, the Commission urges members of the public to utilize its 24-hour toll-free lines, 1543 and 1544, should they wish to bring incidents to the Commission's attention. The Commission will keep you regularly updated on all developments touching on the general elections. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless Kenya.
We take a few questions. We can start from Muremi, then we proceed.
Muremi Mwangi from KTN News. In regards to Eldas constituency, what then does that, Muremi Mwangi from KTN News. I'm asking in regards to Eldas constituency, because the voters there are yet also to vote for the presidency, what does this do to the timelines, to the deadline for declaration? Do you now extend the deadline for all, or it's going to be treated as a special case scenario? And how do you go about the final declaration in light of that?
Let's get another question. Can I answer another one?
Naam, kwa majina naitwa Emmanuel Kilongi kutoka runinga ya Magharibi, na swali langu litahusiana na wale maafisa ambao watasimamia kura kwenye zoezi la uchaguzi mdogo. Je, ni Wakenya watakarimika kulipia hilo zoezi ama ni vipi? Manake wakati huu zoezi la uchaguzi ambalo limekamilika, tumeona kwamba Wakenya walikarimika kulipia hili zoezi, lakini mumeleta tena ama mmetengeneza uchaguzi mdogo hapo baadaye? Asante.
I will answer the one in Eldas constituency. It will not affect our timelines in terms of presidential announcement, or the result announcement, because if it is done tomorrow, by the end of the day, they will be able to tally and they will be able to transmit the results, and we shall continue to count them. And then after the results are collated at the constituencies, they will be airlifted. The originals will be airlifted at Bomas. So it will not affect our timelines for the announcements of presidential results. I will ask the Vice Chair to answer the second question. Can you repeat your question?
Nauliza kwamba kwa majina naitwa Emmanuel Kilongi kutoka TV Magharibi, na swali langu ni kwamba katika uchaguzi huu tunaona kwamba tume ya IEBC ilikuwa imewaajiri wahudumu wa muda ambao watalipwa na pesa za Mkenya, lakini tunaona kwamba tena kuna uchaguzi mdogo ambao utaandaliwa katika kaunti ya Mombasa, Kakamega, West Pokot na Kachilipa. Je, ni nani atakayekaramika kuwalipa wale maafisa ambao watakusimamia zoezi hilo la uchaguzi? Ni Mkenya, IEBC ama ni nani? Asante.
IEBC ni ya Wakenya. So it will be itasimamiwa na IEBC na Treasury, kwa sababu hii mambo ya by elections ni kawaida. Hata 2017 kulikuwa na by election tulifanya. Kwa hivyo itasimamiwa tu kwa sababu makosa imekoseka na ni lazima tuendelee.
We can take the questions from that side coming to this side.
My name is Hilary Orinde from the French news agency AFP. I know you say that voters are still ongoing, or rather still on the queue at the moment. Are you worried that the voter turnout is going to be much lower than you saw in 2017?
There are many reasons that may cause low voter turnout. But as of now, if we are at a 56.1%, we are doing well because the voting is still going on. I don't think there is low voter turnout. And in some areas, the voter turnout is quite high. So I don't think we have a problem with the voter turnout. At 56.7 now, I think by the time we close the stations and we get the final, and this was at 4 o'clock, I'm sure we are going to hit beyond 60%.
Another set of 3.
I'm Kennedy Wandera from Voice of America. I have 2 questions. One, on the Kim's failure. What's the remedy? Is it something that is really putting you back? And number 2, what is your general assessment of this particular voting process? Does it meet the threshold of IEBC's pre election?
Let me say, out of 46,229 KIMS kits that were deployed, we are talking about 200 or 200 something. That is not a bad rate of success. So I would want to settle at that and say that we are going to investigate what could have happened, and next time you will not find any failure. Yes.
In relation to the KIMS kit, earlier you had approved the usage of manual register to that effect. My question is, when you were preparing, you were saying manual register after the final result, and you had 14,000 backup KIMS kit. how did it happen that by the time you go to manual, we did not hear that you had tried the backup machines to use in that case? What exactly was the problem?
Let me request the CEO to answer that.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me correct you. We had 55,100 KIMS kits, and we had 55,100 KIMS kits, and we deployed 46,229 for the polling stations. So we had 6 backups. So if you add that, it will not give you 14,000 as you indicated. But for those areas that we deployed KIMS kit, we deployed printed registers because even the backups were tested, and there was a challenge. And the challenge basically was arising from the logistics. And we said that for you to duplicate the SD cards, you will have to pick the biometrics for certain region, but biographic for the whole country. So if you take it to a different place, then it means that that machine will not work in that specific area. That was actually one of the biggest challenge, and it was brought about due to delays in dispatching the latest materials. You remember that some of the KIMS kits were actually held in our warehouse because of the issue of the stickers. So that could have also have contributed to that. So it's a challenge that we actually saw at Kakamega, and it is actually attributed to that. But as we are speaking, I think we have resolved that problem. In terms of results transmission, we have already airlifted the other SD cards. You can be able to do results transmission from there. And we are also going to increase time for those specific areas so that they can vote for equivalent time lost. Thank you very much.
All right, my name is Dr. Caroline Karu. I'm Raila Odinga's Deputy Chief Agent. 2 questions. One, we have had you make piecemeal declarations about the use or non-use of the physical register. In some polling stations, it's been used. In others, it's actually prohibited. Can the IEBC be clear on what is supposed to happen with the physical register? 1. 2, there is the Form 32, the KIMS kit verification form. In some places, in Kisumu, in Kisii, in Homa Bay, our people have been turned away because the IEBC does not have that form. First of all, that form is illegal because it is not, it's an administrative form for the IEBC, but not a legal document per se. So I think it's very unfair that our voters in those areas which we consider as strongholds are being turned away. So what will IEBC do, especially for those counties that I have named, so that we can be able to remobilize people to go back to the polling stations? We would demand from our side at least a 2-hour extension from the 6 p.m. deadline. Thank you.
Okay. We did communicate with the returning officers and requested them to communicate to the presiding officers that that people should not be turned away. So if that has happened, I think we can deal with it. And I would think that if you have specific cases and specific areas, we are ready to cooperate and work, because we do not want to deny anybody his democratic or her democratic right to vote. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm here. I'm Leila Muhammad from NTV. I have 2 questions. They're both taking cue from what was announced earlier on the issue of insecurity scenarios that have been experienced. There was a question we raised earlier about 2 possible candidates for MCA position who were arrested in Mombasa County. What is the situation now? And are there any other instances where you experienced some sort of, let me not call it violence, but issues around security? And number 2, the question of those voters who had gone to polling stations and they had been voters in those stations before, but today they were turned away because their names were not in the voter register. Do you have any clarity on those 2 issues? Thank you.
I will deal with the last question. That in May, June, we offered Kenyans an opportunity to verify their records and check where they are in the register or they wanted to transfer. We offered an opportunity to Kenyans everywhere to check their to verify their details. And if they didn't, then they carry the burden of their failure to vote. I'll ask the Vice Chair to answer the first question.
I'll deal with the security issue that in Mombasa, it has been reported that 2 candidates fought, and since we are working in partnership with the police and all the security agencies, so they were put in police custody. Yeah, because every one of us is maintaining law and order.
Hapa swali, Commissioner. Hapa nyuma. My name is Waweru Nyambura from Minoro TV. After the challenges we've had with KimSkit, how reliable are they in results transmission, which the court said that was the most challenging part of the previous election?
We are talking about 200 KimSkit. And those 200 KimSkit where there were failure, the CEO has confirmed that other KimSkit have been airlifted. That means out of the 46,000 polling stations, including the ones that had failed and now new ones have been delivered, there is not going to be any problem in terms of result transmission. You understand? Yes.
Yes, I'm Fred Ogola, I'm a policy analyst. I wanted to check why is it that application of the voting processes doesn't look very uniform? And can you assure Kenyans that we are going through the same election in all regions? Second question is that has technology taken over us as a nation or as IEBC, or IEBC is in charge of technology and the election? Thank you.
Excuse me, can you repeat your first question, because we are not using any different.
The first question is that
yes.
You had some areas this was allowed, some areas this was disallowed. Some saying was this policy being implemented selectively, where some people are doing A, others are not allowed to do A. And then the second question is that from the failure of technology, where technology has become a bottleneck in the voting and the transmission, is the technology taking over IBC, or IBC is controlling technology?
I think the first question, IBC is using the same system for election in all the polling stations. We do not have 2 systems. I do not have two different policies. It is one, it has been explained before, and it has not changed. So I think it is your imagination, which is good, to think that we are using two systems. We are not using 2 systems. On the second one about technology, IEBC using technology to run the elections. It is that simple. And I don't want to add to that. Yes, we are using technology to facilitate the election.
Thank you so much. We'll be having a final press briefing at 8 p.m.
Sorry, let me add something on technology. I think we simulated how results, voting and transmission will be done. And we told everyone the first priority is the biometric. If it fails, you go to alphanumeric. And where it fails, you resort to register. And I believe, or we believe, in most areas where the technology failed, the authority was given for register to be used, especially in Kakamega and Makueni, if you've seen. But where it failed, we were using it because there was a chain. And why we didn't use register and cross is because of the Supreme Court ruling, which came to, Court of Appeal, which again referred to biometric being the first priority. That was the reason. But initially, the High Court had said we use manual register. So it is because of those scenarios. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Check 1, 2, check 1.
Thank you very much.